Thank you. Christopher, your response.
And in response to Marshall saying that to their Liberal increase, it's just a knee-jerk reaction and a desperate attempt really to grab votes rather than to properly address this serious pension issue.
Tell me, please.
People who retired from the public service last year will get the same 2.5% as long-term retirees. Long-term retirees who retired with low-wage jobs more than 20 years ago. And this is not really addressing a real need, and it's making the system even more unfair. And the NDP is committed to taking the problems of pensioners very seriously. There are some steps we know that the government could take immediately. These are outlined in our pledges in our first part of our platform, and other measures throughout the 4-year plan would serve to help all seniors and retirees.
Okay, thank you. Next question, and this one goes to Selma again. Do you believe MHAs...
I was supposed to respond to that one.
Oh, sorry, it's new to me, it's my first time. Forgive me. No, you have a minute to respond to both.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a little side note to the pensioners. I mean, I sympathise, you know, I'd love to give everyone a raise, a big raise. But, you know, we had to look at, you know, what's fiscally responsible. You know, in opposition, you can promise the moon. And, you know, you had to look at what's fiscally, you know, what we can do. And, you know, I'd love to see all seniors benefit, not just public service pensioners.
Thank you. We'll try to keep things on track. Our next question to Selma again. Do you believe MHAs should be allowed to vote contrary to their party's position on important issues that directly affect their own district?
Thank you, Mayor. I certainly do think that, you know, if all elected, you know, people should serve the best interests of their constituents. You know, it's how you stand up for the district that's important. You know, you don't always have to do that in public. You know, you had to do it sometimes inside the doors of government. You know, around the caucus table, around the cabinet table. You know, members speak their minds frankly. And, you know, that's where the vital changes can happen. You know, you don't always have to be on open line, or you don't have to be, you know, in the media. You know, things are done inside the government doors. And everyone should have a chance to express their opinions. And, you know, if I'm elected to the MHA, I'll certainly bring forth the, you know, what the people in the district want me to. And if that means I'm going against my government, I'll certainly bring everything forward.
Thank you. Christopher, 1 minute.
Well, party discipline is essential to have an effective function to any government, and not just going against them, you know. But New Democrats certainly pride themselves in being an inclusive, consultative party, you know, that wouldn't force MHAs to vote against party position unless it was on a fundamental principle. New Democrats stand together as one. We're an all-inclusive party. We promote a very progressive view and a set of values that's designed to benefit all Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. I certainly have a strong voice, and I will speak up on issues that are of importance here in the region.
Marshall.
Thank you. I absolutely believe that any MHA should be allowed to speak against their party if he or she so deems it necessary. I've often said I went in the House of Assembly and I'm amazed that 43 people can think exactly alike all the time. And that's what I see as I look at government. You know, when we talk about major issues that affect the district, well, we saw one major issue that affected the Northern Peninsula, that was removal of the ambulance system. And Mr. Young sat over in the corner and he hid away behind whoever was next to him. And that's the kind of, no disrespect to him, but that's the kind of thing that I've seen in the House of Assembly from MHAs who are sent in to represent rural districts like mine, who have fisheries issues, who have health issues, who have infrastructure issues, and I've never heard them stand and speak. And I'm amazed. I've served on church boards, I've been on councils, I've you know, been on Chamber with Commerces and other things. I never saw a place where everyone think alike, except in the House of Assembly when I look across the hall and look at government.
Thank you. Salma, you have 1 minute.
I'm sure there are times when 43 people think alike, but not all times. And I'm sure there are some pretty good arguments inside the caucus table, let me tell you, inside the caucus room. And, you know, the MHAs had a chance, you know, in private, inside the doors, to bring forward their ideas. And, you know, if they feel they want to bring those forward in the House or to the public, you know, they're free to do that. And that's what I'll do.
Thank you. I'll take a minute. The next question goes to Christopher. You have 2 minutes on this one. Where do you stand on the air ambulance issue?
Well, people certainly know where I stand on the air ambulance issue, as I've been there with some of you in the room, rallying at the stadium against the removal. In Flowers Cove, I attended rallies. I joined the Facebook group, Keep the Air Ambulance in St. Anthony, along with 4,418 others. Lorraine Michael, the leader of the NDP, has grilled the House, you know, on the return of the air ambulance to St. Anthony. The NDP does support a service in Labrador as well, and I'm sure a lot of us in the room do, but not at the cost that we have lost our service, one that has been there for more than 50 years, that it should have never been taken away. This was a bad decision, and an air ambulance service is a vital part of having quality health care, you know, for people in the St. Anthony and surrounding region, and as the province as a whole. And I certainly haven't seen anything so quickly passed through the House in legislation and reports, and you know, there wasn't a lot of public consultation, and I don't know why in the report, the Drodge report that was released, there was consultation with 2 families that were affected. They were not certainly experts in the health field, and certainly the loss of that service has affected healthcare in our region, and we can see that. We certainly know where the PC government stands on this issue, you know, with the visit of Kathy Dunderdale and her reaffirming that, you know, this was the right decision to be made, and I certainly don't agree with that.
Thank you. So you have 1 minute to respond.
Thank you. The air ambulance issue, I understand the frustration about the air ambulance. You know, I can relate to how the people felt. You know, I live in St. Anthony as well. And, you know, over 30 years, there have been attempts by the bureaucrats and politicians to get rid of the air ambulance, or move it. And you know what? We were fortunate enough to have strong people around the cabinet table to fight for us to keep that air ambulance. Over the years, Chris Decker fought for it. Trevor Taylor fought to keep the service. And in fact, it was the Liberals, you know, who wanted to review and honor that service. And when the review was presented to government, we didn't have anybody sitting at the table, around the caucus table. And that's my main focus. I want to focus on moving forward and making sure that all reviews and all views are brought to the table.
Thank you. Marshall.
Well, I guess it's suck it up, you got what you deserve, it sounds like it at least, but you know, the air ambulance removal is the most blatant injustice ever been done by government to any region in the province. And if you go back to 2007, there was a review done by the Provincial Air Ambulance Program, on the program, sorry, by the Department of Health officials themselves. And you know, if you look at the recommendations that were made, one recommendation was made is that the air ambulance service should stay in St. Anthony, St. John's, and Anthony Valley Goose Bay being the Twin Otter. And there's no question about that. And in order to come to that conclusion, they went and they consulted with health professionals, they consulted with flight professionals and so on, they consulted with municipal leaders and so on. We fast-tracked into 2010, in March 2010, when the Drodge report came out. We get the most infamous Drodge report. They consulted with no one. They flew in here for a moment, I believe, and met with the council who was available, did the same thing in Anthony Valley Goose Bay, met with 2 families in Labrador and came back and said we need to move it. Minister Kennedy said, I think you're right.